Hey everyone, welcome back to bageltcg. Today we're going to be doing a budget deck video. I haven't done one of these in a while now, and I wanted to get back and do one, especially since there's a strong hero that can be very budget. So today we're going to be doing a budget Blitz deck. Blitz decks are usually what I do for budget decks since they are the best kind of format for new players, which is Blitz, and also they're smaller deck size, so they're more budget in general, right? This is Briar, who is kind of the menace of the classic constructed format right now, and kind of the menace of Flesh and Blood in general, right? She's just a really powerful, aggressive Runeblade hero. But it turns out her core is pretty budget, and it's only the equipment that's expensive, and you actually don't need it too much. So this deck is like pretty close to full power on this $35 budget here, right? So you can see the equipment. We kept Snapdragon Scalers as it's a budget option, and it's already the best in slot legs. We switched out Grasp of the Arknight for Mark of Lightning. Actually has some circumstances where it'll be stronger. It gets extra damage in, and it will make you extra embodiments. So Grasp doesn't do that, although Grasp of the Arknight does have the advantage of blocking and making rune chant. So if you have that, I would play it. Hope Merchant's Hood, we're playing over Arcanite Skullcap here. This equipment is actually being played by some people over Arcanite Skullcap anyways. The advantage is sometimes you'll draw hands with all non-attack actions, and you pretty much lose the game if you do that. So Hope Merchant's Hood gets you around that by popping Hope Merchant's Hood, shuffling your hand in, drawing a new hand, and hopefully not having 4 non-attack actions again. So it's kind of like an insurance policy as a headpiece. We also have Crown of Dichotomy here. It has Arcane Barrier. You're probably never playing this much, but if you run into a matchup where you maybe need Arcane Barrier, I guess you could play it, but not that often. I just kind of put it here as an optional headpiece. And then we're playing Aether Ironweave as our chest. It actually does have some advantages over the typical Fandel Spring Tunic. For one, you can block with this first, and it stays since it has Battle Worn. Um, Although Tunic has Blade Break, right? So when you block with Tunic, you'll just lose your Tunic. But Aether Ironweave, you can block with it, and then after you've blocked with it, you can activate it. And it gives you 2 resources, which can be, like basically it's going to be a free Rosetta swing. So you don't really need the second resource, but sometimes you'll use both, right? I think we only have 1 card in the deck that costs resources. Going on to the main suite of the deck. A lot of this, like I said, is already what the deck plays, is already best in slot. We're playing 2 red Arcanic Crackle, 2 red Arcanic Shockwave, 2 red and 2 yellow Ball Lightning. Let me sort it by type of card here so we can just look at the attacks. And then we have 2 red Entwine Lightning, 2 red Lightning Surge, 2 red and 2 yellow Ravenous Rabble, 2 red Scar for Scar, and 2 red Snatch. For 20 total attack actions here. So trying to keep it about half and half. Pretty much all of these are what you're playing anyways. I don't think any of these are not played already in the full budget, I guess you could say, Briar, the full updated Briar list. I think the main attacks are missing are the Majestics, the Command and Conquer, and Enlightened Strike. And then we're also missing Exude Confidence and Coax a Commotion, but I don't think those are nearly as important, and you probably would not play them anyways in Blitz. So the main attacks we're missing are 2 Command and Conquer and 2 Enlightened Strike here, right? But the deck should function completely fine without them. Enlightened Strike is kind of just okay. Command and Conquer is obviously absurd, but it's, you have to pitch so much for it anyways. It's not that insane here. Moving on to our non-attack actions. We have 18 here, so not full 20-20 split since we do have these 2 instants down here at the bottom, but we still have a decent split here. We're playing 2 yellow and 2 blue Captain's Call. This is able to just give your attack actions go again without an embodiment, and it can also give them +2 if you already are going to get that embodiment. We're playing 2 red Electrify. This should pretty much only be played from Arsenal. Like, if you have to play it from your hand, you have to. But it gets a lot more value when it's played from Arsenal and actually replaces itself, I should say, and hopefully float some resources as well. So We're playing the 2 red Nimblism. We're playing all 6 Plunder runs, which should also be played ideally from Arsenal, especially the red, where you're going to get the full +3. The blues aren't as important to play from Arsenal, obviously, but the Plunder runs are all the super value. The reason Briar plays all the Plunder runs in every build of Briar is that a lot of your attacks don't have any relevant on hits, right? Like, none of these up here in this top row do anything other than damage. They don't have anything except damage on them. And so you want to make it so that your opponent is more interested in blocking or gets punished harder if they don't block. So Plunder Run adds the draw trigger onto all your attack actions, or at least the first one that hits, um, which really just punishes your opponent more for not blocking. So that is why you run all the Plunder Runs. We're also running 2 red and 2 yellow Weave Lightning. We need to get our lightning count up to be able to fuse some stuff like these Arcanic Shockwaves and these Entwine Lightnings. And it's also just a good non-attack action that buffs. I believe the only non-attack actions we're missing that regular Briar plays is Sting of Sorcery, and I think there was another that I had to take out. Oh, Sonata Arcanics. So Sonata Arcanics and Sting of Sorcery are the only ones we're missing. Sting is like, if you have the budget, I think it's only $5 a piece. So if you've got like 10 extra dollars, you can put 2 Sting of Sorcery in here. I would put them over these yellow Captain's Calls. So I would take out the yellow Captain's Call and switch in for 2 blue Sting of Sorcery. And then the Sonata isn't even that important. A lot of Briars don't play the Sonata because it can whiff, and when it does whiff, it's quite bad. So I wouldn't play that. We're also missing 1 Gorganian Tomb, but it's not going to matter immensely. And especially if you're playing against other Briars, you'd rather not have it anyways. So that's the only non-attack actions we're missing here. And then in instance, we have the very powerful 2 red Lightning Presses. These cost 0 and give any attack action in your deck, since everything costs 1 or less, it'll give it +3 at instant speed. Very powerful. +3 is a lot. It helps you push damage. They're very powerful in combination with a Plunder Run to kind of guarantee a hit trigger to get you to draw a card. It also can have niche uses, like if you're trying to pop a Phantasm, because it's an instant, you can block with an attack and then lightning press it to make it over 6 to pop the Phantasm. So it's just a very powerful card. Some decks also play the yellow lightning presses, but I like to keep our numbers pretty equal. So if I was going to put in yellow lightning presses, I would probably put them over like these yellow ravenous rabbles if you want to try that out. So we don't go under 18 of either attack actions or non-attack actions. But I really think this is probably the strongest budget deck in Blitz right now. Maybe tied with the Ira deck that I put out, I think maybe 2 months ago now. So if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It is, I think, similarly budget range in the $30-ish maybe, for a full budget Ira deck that is also quite powerful. And I think this deck is, I think, the only other budget deck in the format that is going to put up as good of results as that Ira deck did. This deck's all about just sequencing, playing 2 non-attack actions, or playing a non-attack action and then attack action with go again. So playing, a Nimblism into a Ball Lightning into a Captain's Call to then get the embodiment of Lightning. But I really think the best way to practice this deck is just to play some games with it. The more you play, the more you'll understand how to order your attacks and when to block, which is pretty much never. The only time this deck should block is if it's about to die, or if the on-hit trigger is just that powerful that you would lose the game if it hits, right? So if you're about to get smacked by like a Command and Conquer that's going to knock out your red Plunder Run, you probably should block that. But typically this deck doesn't ever want to block. You're just going to race your opponent to death because you can deal more damage than them. And that's pretty much the game plan of the deck. You can include more equipment slots if you want. Like, in Blitz, you have 11 total slots for equipment and weapon. But really, this deck just wants to run this suite. You don't even need this Crown of the Economy, like I said. You're just running these 4 equipment pretty much every game. Running with Rosetta Thorn every game. You could actually play Duskblade if you wanted, because that is legal in Blitz. And you could play Duskblade here against control decks. That might be more powerful, but I think that's like a $5 card, so I didn't include it. But really, this deck's super fun to play, super fun to pilot, very aggressive if you like that kind of mono red style almost from Magic. It's very just straight to the face, no blocking, just trying to kill your opponent faster than they can kill you. It's a great budget option, and I hope you enjoy it. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to have some more videos coming out soon, some videos on an Oldhim and a Lexi deck. Let me know what else you guys are interested in, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.